it like in the background. It's like, it's better than ass glass.
It's better than glass in your ass. It's a dungeon world.
Clue. There's a person robbing you in your background right now, taking your dirty clothes.
Whoa!
You're stealing my blankets.
You're getting burgled. You're getting burgled.
Don't steal that dirty laundry.
Leave
Wait.
Dude's dirty shit alone.
Ooh.
Dude, this image is so big, my dungeon worlds can't handle it.
I know. I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, I got it.
I
Wait.
do
Jack.
like this.
Oh, Klug, connect to the thing.
What I did?
Can you?
Oh, pick your character.
How do I zoom out of this picture?
Press
Oh, there we go.
start button.
Was one of us.
Can I have a cheeseburger?
I love how you panned that through your brain before you sang it to us, and you laughed.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if this will be funny.
I
Yup.
pre-laughed at the joke to warm up the crowd.
Yeah.
Nah, you gotta do a dry run.
That's how
Alright.
it's a good run.
we getting in here? We doing the thing?
Oh yeah.
All right, everyone, shake it off. Get in here.
Alright, so last time you all kind of meandered through some strange corridors, got caught in some rusted old cage trap that fell from the ceiling, and found your way through some secret corridors to down a western hallway to the south. You opened up into this big feast hall, just filled with columns. It looked like there's some sort of like dais with a couple thrones to the northern wall. But in the meantime, you're still looking at these fresh corpses of strange goblinoid creatures dripping blackish blood. Gladhammer just finished smacking one clear through the air against a hollow-sounding wall to the south, and Rex is still licking some of the dark blood off of his hands as he smashed into the pillar with one of them that was trying to flank his half-brother. And I believe Pustus was whispering and touching his creepy little finger against the back of the wounded salamander's neck, while Lorenzo went in balls deep, swinging rusted sword and shield at several of the more normalish-looking goblins. Nonetheless, here you stand in this very vast feast hall, surrounded only by the dim light coming off from Pustus's finger and the warm glow of the fire lizard creature that travels with you.
Are we
What
still
would you like to
engaged,
do?
or did they run away?
No,
A bunch
they
of more
have
guys showed up.
they fled into the darkness.
Oh, really?
Easy peasy.
Is this area super dark? It's super dark, right?
It's pretty dark. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to roll with the idea that you've got about a 20-foot radius of quickly falling off light surrounding you.
What happened? What did I miss?
He's
Jimmy
loving
posted
my
a Teams
gifts.
leak. That dog is definitely like 10 of 10 would do again.
I feel like that dog barks and he's like, surprise. Alright.
Okay. Okay.
Where's the map at, yo?
I regret clicking that
Unknown
because.
layer?
Yeah.
All right.
I got it. Oh, lots of columns in here. Okay.
Yep,
Alright.
a whole lot of columns.
All right. Is
Well-
Gnarl fucked up? Why are you on the floor all sideways? Gnarl, what's wrong with you?
Gnarl's not fucked up.
Gnarl, as of now, is feeling much better thanks to the bard cleric or whoever the hell Pustus is.
All right. Let's do this. Lorenzo walks over to Gnarl. Would you do me a favor and hold on to this? And he offers his sword to Gnarl.
Sure.
You know, do the
wait.
old
Sure.
give it the old glow treatment for me.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait. Which way did they flee to? Did you say they went north?
I heated up again.
You saw dark silhouettes heading to the northwest and the northeast.
Dude, I got the taste of
The
blood.
sounds,
I'm
the
hungry.
sort of weird clicking sounds on stone have disappeared into the darkness.
Wait, so are we not in combat?
No, you are not in combat.
Okay, I have a question. So, because last time on this episode, I summoned a giant two-handed scimitar, a falchion.
You did. How many
It's
times
made
do
of
you recall
flame.
swinging that flaming blade?
Right, and I recorded that.
One.
One time. I swung once and missed, and then got the shit kicked out of me.
Okay. Well,
And it was
it's still burning quite brightly. This flaming
Right,
conjured
okay.
sword.
so it doesn't go away if we're on
It's
a
got
combat.
it's got charges. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Use charges.
So
basically.
sorry, I need to retcon the taking the sword and rubbing it.
Okay,
with,
yeah, that's fine. We're all
Lorenzo.
we're all getting caught up to speed now. That was a dark and dizzying moment there, and then the
Rex!
darkness here.
Rex is charging.
I don't even say anything.
While you all are coming to Gladhammer, you notice your brother has charged off into the darkness in the center of the hall here.
Rex, where are you going? I'm coming.
I chase after them.
brother.
I grab a stone from the floor,
Okay.
cast light on it.
Okay. So it's
Throw
your light surrounds the stone.
Right, it's attached to the stone, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And throw it in the center of the room.
I believe even when you use a rote, you need to do the cast a spell check. Because while you start,
Oh yeah.
but
Otherwise
while
you're
you
gonna
start
fuck it
with
up.
all of your rotes, they're
free
kind
though,
of
right?
they're kind of yours to lose. Wait, I think so. Let me double check.
You lose a rope.
Don't lose your scrote.
Until the next time you commune with your unholy god or whoever it is you speak to in there.
Yeah, your god might be pissed at you, like you didn't do it right, and you lose that spell for the day.
God damn it.
You fucked up big time, Pustus.
That's the god speaking to
Yeah.
pieces.
Fucked up big time. Surely I did not, God.
So success with a cost? Oh no, that's Rex.
Sorry, I keep
Yeah.
accidentally rolling.
I'm gonna go with yeah. I mean, just like spells, you need to cast to roll on rotes for now.
I'm gonna belay that order then.
Okay. You're not gonna.
I don't wanna lose him right now. So we got
Okay.
a glowing salamander.
Yeah, he's say.
No, I have a glowing sword that's glowing way more than I am.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, your brand is basically like a torch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Huge fucking torch.
Well, it's fast tapering light. It's about like 30 feet or so. But
Yeah,
it's
30
like
feet.
it's like a
It's like a
very
torch.
strong, ever burning torch.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you sort of trail after Rex in this big hall, Rex, you yourself stop as the pillars sort of wrap in this arc, this semicircle around a dais. Dais?
I like Dias.
Dais?
Dais.
To the north of you, where sits two very elaborate throne room chairs. There appears to be some sort of large single or multiple letter or rune or some kind of inscription kind of carved into the back of each chair, and hanging behind them is this rotted purple tapestry dangling off the wall. And now as you stand here, what feels to be like the very center of this grand feast hall, you see the corridor that you entered from to the south, two to the north, one to the east, and one to the west. Your allies are sort of clamoring after you, trying to catch up. What are you all doing?
Some sort of mega dungeon.
Turn to Glad. Where did they grow?
Well, I am actually not sure. You kinda just took off there, and right after I smacked him into a wall.
Just as I was getting good.
Speaking of,
Would you like to, I don't know, let's just go check out what's up there to the north of us.
gentlemen, perhaps we should examine the hollow-sounding wall to our south, the one that you threw the
Come
enemy
on,
into.
brother, it's time to go.
Lorenzo shakes his head.
I forgot about it, but I have bloodlust. Now I'm not paying attention because I would have already forgotten about it, character-wise.
Lorenzo kind of like trots behind them a little bit.
Okay.
Wait, sillies! Calm down! We have to think about this decision with more thought. We can't just go charging down hallways.
Well, luckily this isn't a hallway. Let's go.
Well, you're gonna go.
You kind of bob and weave through numerous feasting tables and benches that are just strewn about the room between the pillars. And now you all see what Rex sees. This dais, so no, with throne room like chairs, 2 of them sitting atop it.
Does it look like it gets used frequently, or does it look completely abandoned?
I mean, this whole place has felt somewhat abandoned. Like anything that like resembled some kind of supply, like old barrels, appeared to have been like completely rotted and deteriorated. Any of their contents spilled out and just melted away. Who knows?
Can I run like a lore check and see if I know anything about who once sat in these grandiose thrones?
You can, yeah. You wanna spout some lore?
I'd love to.
Okay.
I'm gonna spout it like a mofo.
Spit that hot
Here
fire.
we go, yo. Didn't do it. Hold on. I clicked the wrong thing. Time to click the other button, baby. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Sorry.
Spouted lore
Take the
twice.
first roll.
Yeah, you're not entirely sure, but you're thinking about it, and you see the letters, a large letter F, another one with the large letter Z. You can't quite place the names of the 2 legendary adventurers who supposedly built this place, but you're trying to recall their names, and you think it might be something to do with them.
Perhaps
Oh,
these
yeah.
chairs belong to the people who are on the sculptures in the
Yeah.
hallway as we enter.
Guys from the entrance. I remember I made fun of the name. It was like, shit. I forget now.
I don't think that's his name.
Oh, shit. What was that name? It doesn't really matter. Alright, cool. Let's sit in the chairs.
It's one of them Xallevyrx or some shit.
Lorenzo sits down in the one that has a Z on it.
Ooh, okay. It feels like it's almost been custom sculpted for a much thinner body. Not someone who would be so bulky, so covered with heavily plated armor.
Lorenzo pushes down hard and tries to squeeze into the chair.
You're able to force yourself in there.
Okay.
Should roll for it.
Is the chair
Success
made
with a cost.
the chair made out of wood or metal or stone?
Stone.
A stone chair. All right. Satisfied, Lorenzo stands up and he goes and inspects the other chair.
Lord King Lorenzo, the Rust Knight, is posturing and sitting high above you on these elevated throne room chairs as you all stand about in the darkness. What would you like to do?
God, where do we go?
I don't know. Pick one of the doors. Go through it.
Yeah. Methinks it's time for eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
So much for the thinking.
Is that some sort of prayer?
Yeah. I learned it in prison. Don't ask.
Wait, I'm gonna go over here.
Gladhammer.
Yes.
You go north and head down a small corridor, about wide enough for 2 people. You step forward and see at the end of the hall another wall with a door.
Yeah. I want to check the stone around here to see if there's any really shitty, particularly shitty stones that might be hiding a trap of some kind.
Okay, okay. Go ahead and discern realities as you examine the construction of this corridor. As far as you can tell, it's like any other corridor you've been down. The door looks like every other door you've been through, both the false doors and the one that actually functioned.
Yeah. I had a lot more hero points, I guess, because that's where we were tracking
Yeah, did they
our
reset or something?
failures, and it's now set to 1, but I was at like 4.
I thought you
or
had like
5.
three or 4, yeah.
Yeah. It's set to 1 though. Is that supposed to
Okay.
be our level?
Yeah, I was using it. You could just write them in maybe like the notes page or something. I don't know. Maybe there's
I'm
some
just
issue
gonna
with
say
the character
I'm
sheet.
at 4.
That's fair. Yeah, so yeah, remember that when you guys fail a roll, Pustis, you gain a point of experience.
Because I failed the lore roll.
Correct.
Ding!
Um,
Where do I keep
okay.
this? Hero point?
We were trying that, but it sounds like it does not save for some reason. So maybe just on the notes page or something.
Sorry,
Shit, I put it on my hero points.
I was trying to figure out the hero points thing. I didn't entirely hear everything you said about how shitty the stones are, but Gladhammer decides to walk down the hallway anyways.
Seems like any other corridor you've been through.
Perfect.
You start
It's
to head
all shit.
You start to head down the corridor, moving past the dark stones, and you all, Rex especially. I need you to Rex roll a defy danger with dexterity.
What even is that?
You just roll 2d6.
Oh, I can do that. Where's my Steam controller at? Come on, baby.
Does it work on D6?
Oh, no.
Nope.
Yeah, boy.
That's
Yeah. Oh, into the
Um,
darkness.
Gladhammer. Oop! Did I just accidentally like?
You sprung a trap.
Do this.
Found it, though.
Gladhammer.
Found it.
Right in front of you just drops out of vision so fast. You get an arm out like you almost had the option to try to save him, but it's all you can do to stumble backwards away from the now opened hole in the floor. The last thing you all hear is Gladhammer, and it trails off into nothingness, and there's a loud thump.
Glad!
Whoa, what was that?
Is he awake? Is he alive?
I don't know. Are you shouting down there?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. Glad! Can I hear him?
You do. We'll just say this is like a big old hole in the ground. Big
All right,
pit,
let's
big
examine
pit,
the
if you
hole.
will.
Does it just fade out into black?
Flowers.
Oh no, what happened to my... Oh, there we go.
Can we see the bottom?
You see nothing. You hear the very faint dwarven screams about poor construction and shitty floors echoing up from a distance below, indicating that there is a sign of life.
Pustis, perhaps you could drop a magical lit rock into the
No.
hole.
Gnarl, use your fire!
To
don't
do
know.
what?
To
To
look
do
down
what?
there.
Out to look?
I know,
All right.
what?
I just hold my sword over the pit just to look.
Okay.
Got mine too, right?
It trails off after about 15-20 feet, almost being swallowed by this unnatural darkness. You can start to see the silhouette of something indicating a ground, maybe about 20 to 30 feet below. But it's hard to make out in between the light distance that your blade creates.
Glad, can you see me?
You can clearly see their faces being kind of like lit from behind with this sword torch up above you in this small hole way up. With your dwarf stone sense, questionable at times, you estimate it's about 25-ish feet, Gladhammer. You have felt the unpleasantness of old rotted bodies which have saved your life in this case, having already been strewn across the bladed pieces of equipment that had laid at the bottom of this pit trap.
Oh, there are lots of bodies down here. I don't suppose one of you has some rope.
How far is that? How
Well,
far is that? How
my
far is that?
dwarf eyes say like 30 feet.
My companions, he hasn't been the most reliable when it comes to judging stone as of
I
late.
have about 50-foot rope in my back here.
Oh,
I feel
Throw
it
it
on my
down,
loincloth.
silly.
is that in your dungeoneering kit or whatever, adventuring
Right?
gear?
Adventuring gear, I can just pull a use out of it. and
Yep,
then-
yeah. It's basically charge based, and you pull out whatever you want at the time.
There's an old trick us Knights of the Ouroboros used to use when we needed to get out of tight spaces. We'd rip up tapestries and tie them together and lower them down. Perhaps you could try that.
Or you could just try rope.
I use the rope. Use the rope.
All right.
Okay, how are you doing this?
I pull the rope out of my bag.
Uh-huh.
And
can hold
with
it
one,
on.
I got one hand on the sword, and then the other I'm digging through the bag. I'm like, yeah, here's some rope, and then I
Who do you hand that to?
Dude, give it to Daddy.
Eustace.
Oh, boy.
Look at Rex, who just tossed his loincloth down there, and I hand it to
This looks
Eustace.
like a
Wait,
job for
I took my loincloth off?
Didn't you say you tossed your loincloth down there?
No, I felt around my loincloth for rope.
Oh.
all you found was the extended hair that neither you or any of your companions know to be your beard or your long, beautiful pubes.
Right.
Okay, so I take the rope and hey, fellas! We should anchor this on something because I weigh like 45 pounds.
Well, maybe uncoil it and give one end to Rex.
Rick!
I just grab it. I grab it anyways.
Hey.
Lorenzo leans against the wall and tries to whistle, but his lips just don't function correctly. Yeah.
So how are you doing this?
We both throw it.
Like a fucking wrap around my forearm.
Okay.
We've tossed it down there.
Yeah.
I try to look like
Black,
I'm helping as much as
You've
possible.
done this before, right?
Okay. All right. So Rex is kind of the point man. The rope is coiled around his tense, fucking veiny arms. You're digging your
Bulbous,
feet in.
I'd say.
And some of you are helping him. What's happening?
I'm lighting the way.
Okay. You're illuminating their path, making sure that everything's
Help.
going as
Yeah.
planned.
Lorenzo's gonna leave them to their fate.
Okay,
He could
Lorenzo's
be-
just
he could be of aid. if they ask.
Fonzieing it up on the wall, watching from the side hall here.
Let it-
Getting in.
Yeah.
Is anybody assisting Rex with the rope, or is this a solo mission?
Lorenzo.
It's Rex and Pustis,
Rex.
right?
So the tiny half man
Yeah.
who looks
Just
like he
pulling 'em
prefers
out.
books. Okay.
Lorenzo. Maybe
Yes, yes.
Maybe you can help.
Absolutely. I'm a 6'4", 201-pound man. I can help you.
What I
Not
lack
that
in
Rex
physical-
needs the help. Rex, please, you know.
All right, Lorenzo comes over and he wraps it around his hand,
Okay.
one of his hands, and he braces himself.
Okay. All right. Lorenzo has grabbed the dangling opposite end of your rope here, Rex, and appears to indicate assistance. You may roll a strength check for me, 2d6 plus your strength, and we'll add a +1 from Lorenzo's aid.
Dude, I hope I pull him up so fucking
Woo!
hard he flies
Wow.
over our heads.
I'm happy you did that roll.
Gladhammer, you
Need your help.
the rope sort of flumps down onto one of the corpses, you know, forming the bed you lie on right now.
I want it to be like as I grab it, I'm like, oh hey, are you gonna? And it just like
Yeah, it's just. You come flying up through what is assuredly about 20-ish feet of darkness, and land and plop down on the ground next to your allies once more here.
Oh, ow.
I did it! I did it all by myself.
So much.
Yes. With my rope.
There is now about a 5-foot wide open hole in the floor where you can see this false floor is kind of dropped out on some kind of hinge system.
Is there any kind of debris in the previous room, like wood and stuff? So there were like barrels.
Yeah, there's a lot of like old tables and benches and things.
Or
Let's put a table across.
we could just throw the wee man across the way.
And then he would be stuck on the other side of a 5-foot gap.
Well, yes, of course, but we can find wood in the meantime. He can explore things. It's great. Let's try it.
By himself?
Lorenzo
No.
again
I'll go
tries
with
to
him.
whistle. He goes looking for a table.
Okay. I mean, yeah, sure enough, you all just sort of weaved and pushed your way through numerous kind of old feast hall tables with adjoining benches on each side of them.
All right, he starts pushing hard and
You
he
can
pushes
find one that looks to be decent enough condition, although some of them are definitely rotted and old.
He
out
pushes
of
a
wood.
6-foot table from the darkness up against
There's
the hole.
sliding, annoying, grating sound as he drags this big old table over towards the gap, presenting it like some kind of trophy to you all.
And he's still fake whistling, like. And he pushes it into the hole, and it bridges the gap.
Okay, so over the hole then.
But yeah, over the hole.
Not into the hole?
Not into hole. He
Okay.
like across.
Okay, I'm just checking.
That's my intention.
Okay. Like, yeah, wow, look at it fall. Okay, yeah, you form a makeshift wood bridge.
And then he gives the butler, after you.
I don't trust wood. It's weak material.
But I trust Lorenzo, and so I cross.
Ooh, okay. I mean,
Ooh.
it feels firm and stable enough as you make your way across the little bridge.
Firm.
You do kind of feel gusts of wind sort of blow up past the bridge as you cross this small chasm here.
Ooh, I'll go over too.
The flaming blade in my hand flickers, but
Alright.
does not go out.
Actually, I'll push forward a little bit more.
Okay, alright.
Oops, I didn't look
Glidehammer, just for your awareness, you took 3 points of falling damage, thankfully cushioned by those bodies below for the most part. But you all find a door, wooden, very much like some of the others you've encountered, with like an iron rung handle.
Hey, where do I mark down damage? Sorry.
I already put it on your wounds.
Oh, okay.
Like
On the combat tracker, you can see it's like the
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
third thing there.
like a bear sniffing a bear box. I come to the door, sniff
Okay.
it to see and hear for it, anything that's inside.
You notice that kind of like near the hole you just crossed over, there is a slight sort of dank breeze kind of coming through the cracks of the wood in front of you, leading you to believe that this is in fact an actual door opening up to somewhere or something.
Ooh, dankness.
Gladhammer, what was in the pit that you fell into?
There are lots of bodies.
Notice anything peculiar about them? Are they wearing anything different?
They look like bodies.
Who has a pit full of bodies behind their throne room, I wonder? I'm bemused to myself.
If we lower you down, could you talk to one of them, maybe?
I believe I could!
I mean,
Why don't we just go
I
through
can talk
this
to
door?
bodies. I just don't know if they'll respond.
I believe this one has the gift of talking and receiving words from dead bodies.
The foul,
How do you know that?
strange breeze kind of blows across all of your faces as you stand in front of the door.
Rex. What's through that door?
They abandoned
fine.
the idea.
find out.
Your curiosity overcomes you, Rex.
Yeah, I pushed it right open.
Yeah, you find it unlocked as you shove and slam open this door.
And I stand there,
this-
full framed.
This foul old smell sort of washes over you.
Death.
You kind of find yourself in a corridor with stairs that lead down, down, down to another old wood door.
Ooh.
More doors.
Kind of worry about the trap that was just sprung. Lorenzo kind of pushes forward a little bit, and he tries to make out if there's a similar trap in the room.
Did you say Mordor?
More door.
I've heard of Mordor. Not a pleasant place.
What's Mordor?
You
Tell
don't
us about
simply
it.
walk into it.
Tell us about it while I get a refreshment.
Well, okay, let me tell you a story. Well, there's this place called Mordor, and there's a tower there called Barad-dûr, and it's very ashy. There's like a big mountain there. It's, very
Oh, yeah.
powerful.
Right next to wood
Please.
door, right?
No, not wood door.
Open door?
Yeah. Oh, no. No, I don't think that's a place.
Iron door.
I've heard of Iron Door, of course.
Griffin
Who
door?
hasn't heard of Iron Door?
Do griffins have doors?
I suppose so. If you're into that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Mordor. It's
Yes, long, narrow stone stairs creep downward into the darkness and a stone wall with an old wooden door.
Have you ever heard of Palindor before?
Oh, you mean that famous paladin?
He's really popular where I'm from.
Even the dwarves have
He's
heard
got his
of
own
the
miniature
Palindor.
statues they sell at pawn shops and menageries.
Who said that? I don't even know who said that. Did you hear that? It was like a voice on the wind.
Yeah, it's like
itself.
the voice of Laughing Deer himself, shining down through the body of this strange salamander.
It must be a stench.
I wonder what happened to
What
Palindor.
what would you all like to do?
I'm following the light.
Okay.
Following my brother.
Lorenzo wants to examine the room for traps.
Okay.
I open the door.
The torch-lit curved blade spills out into a sort of corridor that turns and sort of ramps downward to the north and west to another door.
Lot of doors here,
Yeah.
Pee-wee.
This is Mordor.
More doors.
I told you it's an evil place.
As you walk down the ramp with your torch blade, there is this stronger and stronger, this damp, strange breeze blows up from beyond the door.
What secrets?
What does it smell like? Can I catch its scent?
Oh, you sure could try, yeah.
Yeah, sure, definitely want to.
Okay.
I wonder if this smells.
Go ahead
like
and
the-
discern your realities.
Oh, stinky.
Does this?
So, you may ask me one question as you take in the surroundings, the odor, the sights, the sounds.
Is the aroma in the air being disturbed by movement? Like, does it feel like it's moving?
What a
Or is
waste
it
of a
still?
question.
Well, here I'll give you
What am I supposed to ask?
I'll give you the standard. Standard. Let me just post it in here.
What would you ask, Jeremy?
I'm just.
Well, there's a you can deviate if you can deviate if you want, but there's a standard list of questions basically that you get to kind of choose from.
All right, perfect. No, I don't even know. I'm genuinely asking. I don't
What does
know.
it smell like? That would be my first question.
All right, what does it smell like?
Okay.
Done.
Well, you only get one.
That's the one. That's the one.
Okay. It smells like an old dank dungeon, but there is a little bit of notes of flesh and something else that you can't quite place.
Ah, notes of flesh.
Are you familiar with the notes of flesh? I bet Rex is probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am now. I discerned the shit out of that thing.
So the
like
grizzled
flesh.
the grizzled taller than average dwarf man pulls his nose off of the cracks within the wood door in front of you. It definitely smells like it goes down deeper into the belly of this place.
All right, Lorenzo pushes ahead. Allow me, gentlemen. I have a shield. The
Okay.
door's open, right?
It feels like it's open, yeah.
All right. Lorenzo pushes forward, and he's standing straight up. Like this.
Down and down, not unlike tonight's poster. The stairs wind and wind and wind. The light from the salamander's blade glowing in a radius around you. Hold please.
You reach the bottom.
Is this poster supposed to be like
What secrets?
portrait mode?
Yeah.
Is it-
Yes, it is.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying. Yeah, I'm getting crazy.
No, all good, man. I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
Oh, you can't say that on live stream. You'll get sued.
What's that?
I'm loving. I'm loving. Maybe say it.
Looks like we're both going down.
Ah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Play it on your guitar.
You got that on your soundboard. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. And living spaces. Now open in Murrieta and Temecula.
Coming soon to Lake Elsinore.
These extremely steep stairs wind down and down and eventually look like they sort of taper off into some kind of landing. The lower you get, the more you realize that these things are pretty much carved out of the black rock that forms like the bedstone of this place that you were just up above in. And yeah, there's now a very present sort of occasional dank breeze that blows around you.
It's been blowing all over us the whole time, though.
Yeah, but now like you can.
Is it blowing up towards us or down?
Up
into
towards
the...
you.
All right, Lorenzo very purposely steps in front of everyone so that his stink amplifies, and it's just radiating over them. And he puts his shield up. I'll lead the way. He's cautiously walking down the stairs, keeping his eye out for more traps, up and down.
Okay.
Looking at the ceiling, look at the walls.
All right.
I'm gonna get fucking killed.
How would you all like to proceed?
I'm right behind him.
Okay.
I'm at the back.
Lighting the way.
Oh boy, we hit the MS Paint map.
This area is unfinished.
We've gone.
We've gone too deep. We've gone too deep.
8-bit.
1989 right now.
All right, Lorenzo pushes forward,
Yeah.
motioning for them to come with him.
Okay. As you step forward, you see like these nasty like blades sticking out of the ground next to kind of stalagmites on the bottom, stalactites.
Yes. Mites on the bottom, tights on the top.
Okay, yeah, stalagmites and actual blades, spear-like blades, protruding straight up from the ground. Up above, you all kind of see the familiar sight of the floor trap that you were just near.
Rex Gladhammer, perhaps this is what you were smelling and what you fell into.
Well, I
Wait,
can
wait.
always take a look.
Gladhammer was down here. He fell all the way down here, and we're now where he fell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there should be
No.
bodies everywhere.
There are bodies littered almost like a blanket on top of most of the pointy ends.
The bodies at the floor.
Is this what you were smelling, Rex?
It's definitely death.
Eustace, maybe this is a great opportunity to do what we were discussing before.
It has the poo-poo stench of death. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll pick like. Okay, this is what I did. I scan
Tell
the
me.
sea of corpses,
Yeah.
and I look for a face that tells a story, tells a tale.
Okay.
Somebody that maybe died in a particularly horrific fashion. I mean, they all got impaled on stalagmites. So, like, just somebody that's like, maybe they got a funky mustache or something like that. Something that goes like, okay, this guy's probably got something to say.
There are two interesting looking bodies on the spikes here. Most of them are pretty rotted, decayed, emaciated, etc. There are two that look fairly fresh. You're not sure. One of them is this sort of tall, square-jawed, curly-haired looking man wearing, not unlike you, some sort of holy garments.
Holy man.
Yeah. He's got like these symbols that indicate some sort of mistress or muse that he worships. Nothing that off the top of your mind you're familiar with. Now near him, more face down, you kind of see this dark-haired, almost young-faced woman who's got like this smirk that she just died with on her face.
I'll pick that one.
Yeah,
Sounded
she
pretty
bears a few markings of her dress, her amulet that seems to indicate some kind of magic user.
She's wearing a dress and she's face down.
No, she's wearing some kind of garment.
Okay. Just imagine two legs sticking up and a dress overhead.
I'm okay with that.
Draw an MS Paint for us.
Right on. It's happening now.
Okay, I think the lady looks interesting enough
Okay. All right.
talk
So
to.
you're gonna
So I
see how your relationship with your god is doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. Wait, did it get broken? Time?
You had a small penalty for a little while there.
Oh, okay. All right, Kyle, I'm ready for this.
All right. So
Get this
use
going.
your cast a spell.
Cast a spell.
Yep.
Whoop. Never mind, guys. Never mind.
And then there's just the stalactites sticking up through the dress.
Wait, I didn't see the picture.
It's on the in Google.
And then you lift up the dress and there's just an impaled corpse.
Oh.
This is the line quality is too good in Photoshop though. I'm gonna need this in MS Paint.
Right? You better
Oh,
keep
man.
that aliasing.
Needs more
Yeah.
jaggies.
I have to download. Oh, I got paint.
So I believe when
we
you
go.
just straight up fail your spell cast,
That's a point.
I think
Dick
you
falls off.
lose the spell.
I lose it.
I think so.
Wait, what is the spell that I'm even using?
There's like that communicate with dead or something.
I just made it up.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Oh no, wait. Okay, you don't lose the spell. You don't,
Don't
but you
lose
might. What? I don't know. What the fuck?
I can lose it. I don't care.
Yeah, let's say you lose it for now. Your god strikes it from your memory, from your prayer book.
Now, brother, if you take a look at this stone here,
And
This
Guards.
one's particularly quiet tonight.
stone is very
Hello?
tough stone. Now, this is where we're getting to the guts of this place.
So the two dwarf brothers are venturing down the narrow passage that winds through the natural opening in the rocks to the north.
Well, yes, I'm naturally drawn to rocks. Mysterious ghost voice.
Hmm.
My hand on the rocks.
So
Okay.
you've got to feel it. You've got to really put your hand, deep inside this rock here like this. Got to feel it, Give it a little
I kind of
tickle.
roll my eyes as I look at him.
It's like a brother showing
no.
another brother how to
I
masturbate.
say to him with
With
my
the
eyes, "You're
fingers.
droning
Is
on,
that what
brother."
brothers do?
With
I look at
the
him.
fingers.
You want to tell us something, Jay?
No.
Go ahead, Rex. What were you seeing?
Well, I just tell you with my eyes that you're droning on about these rocks. Like I've
Not
grown.
talking about rocks.
Did you know
heard-
there's
yeah, perfect.
5,643 words for rock in the dwarvish language?
Push forward.
Hey, glad. Look for it.
Sorry.
This particular... Where did you go? Oh, hey, come back here.
Gladhammer. Hey, could you discern if these rocks killed these people or if they were killed by swords?
Try talking to them.
Yeah, I don't speak the stone. I just feel it. They talk back to me, of course. Come on.
Lorenzo trots behind, shaking his head no the whole time.
Oh, very good, brother. Yes, you're doing a great job doing somersaults down the corridor.
Feel those rocks. Feel
Oh, I'll
them.
do it with you.
Come on, Eustace.
So
Leave
it's a
that corpse
normal
alone.
throne room that has a trap door that leads to a body. So it's not really a room that's meant for the bodies, right, Fiddy? It's like just
Like a
bodies
rancor
landed
pit.
there.
Exactly. Yep.
Much like Gladhammer did earlier.
So it's like somebody was like, you know what? I gotta get a body hole. This back hallway back here.
Yep.
I don't care if there's anywhere to keep them. No cage.
Nailed it.
Come on, Eustace.
Putting all the puzzle pieces together. Okay, here
Oh,
I come.
if you come over here, I'll tell you all about stalactites and stalagmites.
It's
Just come over here.
It's exactly what you see as you go on to describe him, the meaning and the importance of the dripping, constant sort of fluids that's coming off these stalactites about 9 feet above you.
Oh, do you want me to do that
there's
now?
little screeches and flutters as small bats sort of flit about along the ceiling up here.
I don't like the look and smell of this place.
Don't mind the bats. This place is perfectly friendly. Let's go. I'm curious to see what's
Almost
ahead.
on cue, Rex, you catch this awful stench coming out from the southeast corridor as they discuss smells and safety.
I immediately start walking that way.
And if you notice this... Rex, brother, where are you going?
Born into trouble as the
Wait.
sparks fly
Oh,
upward.
shit, it's not again.
Ignoring the narrow passage that opened to the north, Rex is following his nose to the southeast, further and further down this narrow corridor.
What do you got, boy? What do you have?
What do you smell, boy?
Come on, what do you smell? Come on.
I
Now, brother Gladhammer, what have you got, boy? Come on.
want to take one of the rocks that's on the ground and I want to put it in his mouth.
Oh.
Or at least try to.
Oh, you should roll for it.
Yes, I mean, I've tried rock before. It's not very tasty. This particular rock is not tasty at all.
And he like
It's got
tosses it
guano
over
all
his-
over it.
It's
did you
guano!
Guano is actually used to make some exotic drinks in the
Please
world.
stop.
Oh, where are you going? Come back here.
Help! La 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 la.
So,
You kind of hear this thwump as Rex just charges on ahead, looking back at you all unknowingly walking into this crude barricade that's strewn across the hall here.
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
Perfect 'cause I'm trying to not hear. I'm distracted.
They're like the dumbest adventures ever.
There's
paladins in
this
the back.
this crude barricade of like rocks and poorly chopped pieces of wood here and there, but it's enough to completely wall off your passage, and through some of like the cracks in the above areas, like with the strewn pieces of wood, you kind of see and smell what appears to be some sort of like bathroom, shitting room, dumping ground for fecal matter ahead of you.
for fecal matter.
Yeah.
Shitting room.
The smell is awful. Awful.
I don't know
don't
if we're gonna
like
find
this.
what we want here.
It's just a little shit, guys. What's the big deal? And then Lorenzo
Make room.
kind of like pushes forward. He starts getting knee deep in the shit. Starts pushing forward.
As the Rust Knight pushes into the still standing barricade, there's this strange screeching noise that comes out, wafting through the strong odor attacking your noses right now.
Oh no, shit demons!
Lorenzo seems like unaffected by the shit smell.
Alright, you gonna try to bash that barricade down?
I'm gonna examine it. Does it look like it's holding the corridor up?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I would love to bend the bars and lift the gates and break open all the things.
Oh, so
Alright.
you so the stout one-armed dwarf behind you sort of pushes his way to the front, just spouting off claims of his importance and strength to you.
Yes, of course.
Oh, he
+1.
he
Experience.
starts bashing against the stone and wood barricade. Never stops talking about his glorious exploits as one who bends bars and lifts gates. Seemingly doing nothing to this poor, crappy barricade, probably made by creatures lesser than all of you.
Lorenzo examines.
Hey, I'm never using the auto roll dice anymore.
Rex,
Done.
your brother is kind of embarrassing you right now. As the Rust Knight steps in front of him, and you watch from the side.
Gnarl, maybe you could help me out with this.
I stand stoically.
Maybe. I help.
Okay.
Is it alright? Is the barricade made out of wood, or is it
Wood and stone.
uh,
Primarily stone, kind of reinforced in places with pieces of wood.
Perhaps you could
Oh.
shed some light on this situation.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're throwing down. All right, I burn it.
Okay.
Confident.
I use fire! Is that your
All the shit fumes are gonna catch on fire.
handcrafted ability, or what are you doing here?
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my burning brands to basically like the Jedi just plunging their
Ah,
lightsabers
sick,
into
cool.
a wall and just be like, and so all the wooden places I'm just gonna like skewer through and hope that bursts into flames,
Okay.
you know, and
Okay.
then just burning all the wood away.
I like the idea. I mean, you kind of like start scorching and cutting and charring bits of wood, but it's not like dry wood just instantly explodes upon the flames, which is what your blade is. It's just a sword of fire, essentially. But if Lorenzo is sort of bashing and pushing and doing what he can at this time, we can kind of synergize a little bit, and that can sort of feed into a little bit of a bonus for him, if you want.
All right, Lorenzo
Let's synergize.
synergizes. He finds a weak spot and he puts his gloves in and he starts pulling as hard as he can.
Okay. All right.
Can we actually get a fire going?
I mean, if you actually like try.
Damn!
Well, I tried to set fire to it there.
Burn.
Well, you
then I
said you
wanna-
were Jedi cutting through.
No. I said like just plunging straight in.
Oh,
like,
and like holding your blade.
holding it there.
Okay.
Yeah, like trying to get it to burst. into flames and
Miscommunication.
stuff. Oh,
All
no,
right.
No worries. I'm
Okay.
not. I'm not lightly scratching and just.
Okay.
I'm not feather dusting it.
All right. All
I'm
right.
trying to stab it deep.
All right.
into the
So
heart.
you kind of find
'Cause-
like
'cause-
the most wood-heavy part of the structure.
Yeah. so
Plunge
what I'm
your
gonna do,
blade in.
Catch it on fire, and then use Zuko style to
Okay.
make the
Okay.
fire actually spread to the rest of it.
All right. Well, Lorenzo, you're beating and bashing on the wall while Gnarl is doing this. Go ahead and roll a 2d6 and just we'll add your strength. Oh yeah. Okay,
Whoa.
that's happening.
What?
That's my Zuko style.
Good. Lorenzo, you go ahead and do your thing too, please.
But it doesn't matter because
Yeah.
Gnarl took care of it.
Well, everything matters, my friend.
It's true.
Lorenzo, you're bashing and beating on this stuff, and you almost kind of have a flashback to that singed flesh to mail feeling you had earlier with these guys. But you pull off in time, definitely weakening the structure for the lizard as he sort of sets fire to like one of the main wooden components of this barricade, and it starts to catch fire and spread a little bit, burning by some unknown catalyst, and pieces of the stone kind of break and fall as the stuff starts to burn over the span of a few minutes, leaving enough of a gap in the barricade that you all could kind of climb over the fence at this point.
Does the shit catch on fire?
No, it doesn't seem to like super spread or anything like that. After everything falls,
Yeah, after it
breaks down
burns
a
like
bit.
a adequate path, I make all the fire just disappear.
It's at a point now where you all could climb over this thing, but you would have to. There's not enough really. The base of it, like the lower 5 to 6 feet, is mostly stone. So you can climb over that, or try to bash it down, or do something. It's up to you all.
Climbing over.
It'd be an
alright,
easy.
go
It'd be an easy climb.
Oh, all right. Taking that.
I
taking that
I
point.
slither right over.
Okay.
I fit easily.
Gentlemen, would you allow me the privilege of going ahead of you? The silence is deafening. Lorenzo ignores it and he just continues forward.
So you climb over the lower part of the stone wall barricade.
Yeah.
Okay. You step into what is clearly some sort of bathroom, we'll just say, going forward, for some kind of foul creatures. There's another similar barricade of stone and wood to the north here, but this one is covered with like this white sticky substance, and then another barricade to the southeast, sort of blocking your way a bit.
All right, guys. It appears to be safe, but you may want to hold your breath while you come in.
Oh God!
Eustace covers his face with his shawl. Stinky, stinky.
I don't know if I like this way.
There may be dookie treasure in here.
Golden nuggets.
Somebody pooped out a sword.
There are definitely gaps in the structure of the one to the southeast. The one to the northeast is just covered with layers and layers of what appears to be some kind of webbing.
Oh,
I burn
dookie
it.
spiders.
Are those common?
You start burning it?
Yeah, dookie spiders are all over the place.
Shh, paint us a picture, Gnarl? How are you doing
Oh,
this? Yeah.
So since it's webs, I'm feather dusting. I'm just kind of putting my sword in there and just kind of like just hoping that the webs catch fire with my sword.
Okay. All right. Everyone else, you're all climbing over this stone wall and coming into this shit room.
I'm reluctantly
like
watching
on the
them
north
go
side. I'm
first.
just kind of.
You're watching over the wall, Rex.
Oh yeah,
So you're behind.
I'm on their side of the wall, but I'm just reluctantly not pushing forward.
Gladhammer.
Yeah, right behind you.
So over the wall.
Lorenzo looks up. What's up there?
Okay.
Butthole.
Web-covered ceilings about 14 feet high in this natural cavern.
Is there crap falling down from the ceiling?
You can't
Look up
really
with your
tell. I mean, you're looking up into like
Is there stuff
just
dripping
white
from the ceiling?
darkness. Nothing dripping. No.
White darkness?
Yeah. Yeah. It's dark as fuck, but you can kind of see the
Alright.
webbing strewn across the stalactites in the darkness because of how bright it is.
All right, he's wary, but he continues to move.
The fuck is that sound?
Sounds like a toilet backflowing.
Look, we're gonna talk IRL for a second here. What the hell is that thing? Sounds like a cat choking on another cat.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra for sure. It's absolute chupacabra. Goat sucker if I've ever heard one.
All right, are the webs burnt down?
There's
up to-
definitely enough of a passage that you can kind of push through. You know, like bits of it would probably cling to you as you walk through, but it's as walkable as it's
No.
going to be.
No, they're not gonna cling to me. I'm like, nah.
Well, probably not you.
I'm doing a real thorough. Fuck. I'm doing a good
Alright.
job here.
Okay.
Rex,
okay.
we need assistance. What do you smell down here? Does the air smell less foul?
Poop and spiders.
Yep, nailed it. Didn't even have to take a big whiff for that one. All right, Gnarl, you're cutting all the way through. You're spending time to get every last fucking thread of webbing.
Yes.
All right. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes, but you all sort of stand about in this foul-smelling room, almost getting dazed and dizzy, somewhat high from the fumes. But Gnarl nevertheless cuts through into this open, small chamber, and you kind of step through, leaving no significant trace of webbing in the corridor behind you. But as you step into the room, this room is just fucking covered with the stuff. But
God
strangely, there are these two almost pillar-like stalagmites coming out of the ground over in this corner of the wall, basically from wall to wall. If you were to just look at it like one of those like magic eye paintings, at a glance it almost feels like a portal is sort of being constructed here out of webbing between these two stalagmites that kind of have this eerie green glow and some strange runes just etched into the stone themselves that wrap around both pillars.
Right next to the Dookie room, huh?
Right next to the Dookie room.
Lorenzo
Made it
pushes
to the
forward.
Dookie lair.
Yeah. I'm like using the sword to sort of look around. Is this room empty of spiders?
It appears to be empty of creatures. Yes, there is another passage that leads to the northeast, also kind of covered in webbing, but this room in particular appears to be clear other than the webbing itself and these very different stalagmites.
Okay. I tell the party, it's clear. Come this way.
Oh, you really did a great job burning those webs back. Ah, shit.
Yep. There is a faint sort of very, very faint green, almost eerie glow around both of these stalagmites.
Do either of you three know anything about runes? I'll take that as a no.
No.
What do you mean?
Probably more than
three?
anybody else in this group.
The
So,
dwarves
yeah.
know about stone, right?
What do you
So
mean
this
about-
is where like I encourage you all to use the spout lore stuff more, where you just kind of spout bullshit in character, and then we decide whether or not it's true through some dice roll and GM interaction.
All right, Lorenzo
okay.
is.
That requires a little bit of creative bullshitting on your part in character.
So all right, hold on. Out of character.
Yeah.
Time stuff. So before, when I was spouting lore, you were like, you wouldn't have any idea about any of these people. Am I allowed to just like override that and be like, I'm gonna just fucking say it anyway?
That's what we call the pitch.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. We'll see.
what was that? Fuck it off. All right,
That wasn't me, but well played.
Stomps up to the ruins and he examines them.
Yeah, you're.
Do they? So do you have descriptions of the ruins, or I just bullshit whatever I want?
Well, I did describe them. There's a faint green glow. They appear somewhat unnatural in this cavern, and wrapping around them are all of these strange, unrecognizable runes or letters.
Do any of the runes have a circle shape to them?
Yeah.
Right. These gentlemen, these runes are familiar to me. This one right here, and he points to one of the circular ones. This is the symbol of the Ouroboros, the patriarch of my people.
While it is circular, it does not match his amulet that you've seen him clutch 1-to-1. But you all listen.
But, well, it might. You know what? It might be the shorthand version.
Yeah, this circle here, this one means rebirth. This one
Yes.
means life never ending.
I listen. I like
I think-
stories.
I think this is good, and it's glowing green.
Okay, he's
Green like
sort
a
of
serpent.
running his finger around the columns, explaining
Whoa.
them all to you. Go ahead and roll spell lore.
Oh man, I hope this becomes canon. It does not.
No, it does. It does.
It does.
Ah!
At a cost.
And this green here, this is the green color of the serpent. the
Okay,
Ouroboros.
so on a 7 to 9, I have to tell you something interesting. It's on you to make it useful. Whereas if you had gotten a 10 plus, it'd be me revealing something interesting and useful that you know about the subject, relevant to your situation. Oh.
So you have to tell me an interesting
Yes.
thing?
So you, Lorenzo, you think that these things are used in some kind of strange magic ritual. You know that.
Okay.
I would ask you, how do you know that, and to incorporate that into your explanation to your party members.
Lorenzo he has like a moment, like he goes really quiet. He's
Running
like,
his fingers over the rune
yeah, he's
carved
like,
columns.
perhaps this has something to do with bringing the dead back to life.
The
Perhaps
strange
their
Rust
lives-
Knight explained to you all.
Their lives never end for some reason. Maybe once they die, they come back again somehow.
It makes sense.
He's describing all this, examining it, waving his arms about, almost shaping like this is some sort of portal.
This might be a portal.
I step between the stalactites.
You would be walking into and burning through some loosely wound bits of webbing.
Yeah, I do that. I clear a path.
Okay. The faint green glow leaves the runed columns as you burn and step through the webbing, and that loud screeching sound can be heard to the northeast.
Okay.
The room is now only lit by the salamander, and you no longer have the light rote going, is that right? Or do you?
I don't know how long it lasts. I lit one last session, so I don't know.
Let's look.
Well, I got my sword.
Right, and that is giving off a decent amount of light for people who are with you. I think it just lasts as long as it's in your presence and you have
How are
control
you guys
of it.
doing that so fast?
Mouse wheel, mouse wheel.
Mouse wheel.
Oh, mouse wheel.
Oh, the secret's out.
Damn.
We all dance in the green
As
light.
the green pale light leaves when the salamander burns through the two pillars, Rex steps closer to the corridor to the northeast, where some screeching noise has just come echoing out.
I am walking cautiously. I'm not.
Okay, so
I am
you
kinda
stand in the
keeping an eye out.
corridor.
Not bloodlusted
Not,
anymore.
not sneaky, but just cautiously.
Okay.
What are you doing to my
You
ragged
get
dick?
you get about this far before just a almost physical solid wall of webbing occludes your path.
Alright.
Rex, I can burn it.
Yeah.
I
Burn it down. Come through.
You feel like this is so thick, and as far as you've been able to tell, like your fire doesn't rapidly spread through whatever material this webbing is, that this is probably going to take you like 10 plus 15 maybe minutes to really carve through.
Yeah.
We all
Okay.
help.
Burn
Okay.
one help. We need to chop.
Launch
Chop
over
it.
Because he's burning smaller
We're
pieces
all
of
chopping at it.
Okay.
Whoa,
Okay.
shit. Lorenzo, while they're chopping it down, he questions why the green flame went out. He takes a knee and he starts to say a prayer to the Ouroboros, the god of his people.
But listen, if that rune was important, they wouldn't put it next to the shitter.
He doesn't.
Okay?
He doesn't know that. That was lore. That was goddamn lore. That's canon now. He takes it. He takes a knee and he plants his sword down in the shit, and he kneels down in the shit. And he's like, "What? Why, oh Lord, have you put thine symbol down here in a shit-filled room? Why have you brought?" And then he mumbles this. "Why have you brought me back from the dead? And what is the significance of this rune?"
Okay. Is this
Mumbles that so you can't hear it.
are you just riffing, or is this based on an ability?
This is riffing and also renewing my prayer. That I have to
Oh,
say.
okay. Yeah, all right. Good. Just roll 2d6 for me.
Something happens. The room has no more shit in it.
Well, that's definitely not 2d6.
Whoa, wait, what?
Monopoly dice.
Oh shit.
You must be the Monopoly
Oh no. The ruins are silent.
Yeah, you're almost sort of creeped out by some kind of familiarity, like this dank underground feeling. Feels comforting and relevant to you in your recent times. You're sort of having these flashbacks to dark thoughts, dark memories as you laid buried in the darkness for so long. But you hear no reply. You know that you're just talking with yourself.
Lorenzo stands back up and he kind of flings the shit off of his knees and he resheaths his shitty, rusty sword and he's disappointed and he walks back to the party.
Keep hacking. Hack and slash. Hack and slash.
I'm just
Heather
headbutting. I'm headbutting the webs.
Okay.
Do you get stuck in the web? Like, it gets in your hair?
I'm help. I need an adult.
Okay. Enough time and effort passes, and you all sort of clear your passageway through this webbing. As soon as you sort of carve and burn through the last bits of it all, you see what appears to be some kind of very large, open, 20 to 30 foot ceiling cavern, illuminated not only by your ally here and his blade, but this weird pulsing soft purple light that's just kind of writhing and dancing upon this huge fucking crystal at the center of the back of the room. Around it are many. I'll give you the benefit of assuming you didn't move into the room yet.
You're dead.
Around it are many large webs and about a dozen or so cocoons, just looking to be some sort of I don't know, wallet. What the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Like pouches of something, just wrapped up with webbing.
Use the word sack.
Sack, that's the word I was looking for. Large webbed sacks. About a dozen or so dangle from the very tall ceiling, also covered in webbing. You're not sure what lies in here. You definitely get the vibe, the feeling that the screeching noise was emanating out of this large echo chamber. And there is a noise of skittering kind of approaching as the salamander, I assume leading the group with his fire, burns through the last part of this webbing. I need you to discern realities, Gnarl.
It's not real.
Reality is not good right now. Found the heart of Tafiti.
Oh no.
God.
How much is Does he get like 2 experience points?
You're
Yeah.
you're all kind of just stunned as the salamander who kind of falls into this strange trance-like state. Gnarl, you're almost taken back to those days when you were being tested and prodded and poked and just laced with strange magics. But you find yourself slowly kind of slithering and walking and floating towards the center of this room.
I'm gonna grab his
Immediately,
you.
you as you reach to grab out for him, perfect.
Go with him.
Gladhammer charges in and grabs the fiery tail as 2 large spiders come just dropping swiftly, dangling from these web vines from the ceiling, cutting you all off between the dwarf and the salamander. What do you do?
Not being.
Oh, dude,
Oh.
I'm pissed.
Wait, hold on. I've seen
Don't
this
scale
before.
that up.
Lorenzo,
Scale that up.
Lorenzo walks up to Rex and punches him in the face.
I was already pissed. I slash at Lorenzo's knee with one hand.
Okay, yeah.
I'm pissed now. Oh, my God.
I saw this last episode. It worked awesome.
Lorenzo, roll a hack and slash. Rex, roll a hack and slash if that's actually happening.
This is actually. Are we happening?
Yeah.
All right, let's happen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's happen it.
One miss.
Oh, I punch you square in the face.
Lorenzo, you try to retaliate as the large rust knight just clocks you cold in the face. You're as a sort of stunned feeling washes over you, like large rust-mailed humanoid next to you, 2 giant spiders dropping down, covering and cutting you off from your brother and the lizard. You're not stunned, but you're kind of just.
That's what I was going for.
Your adrenaline rises quickly. What are you doing?
I'm fucking pissed. I'm charging into those spiders. Fucking
Get 'em!
my bare hands out.
Okay.
Literally,
Okay.
not like these hands, but my bare hands.
You gotta give a
bare
quick
hands.
yank on the old tabard hairs. Real
As
Oh.
as Lorenzo connects
As I-
with Rex's face, he like punches square, but then unbeknownst to him, he like gives the high five, like as the punch follows through.
As I run towards the spider, and I slash down, trying to cut away at some of its legs with my bare hands.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a hack and slash.
Just karate chop.
I can't remember what the barbarian is. Well, no.
It's hack and slash just
He's
to
got
see if you
bear
hit.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So with a 7, you succeed, but it's not exactly how you wanted it to go.
Okay.
So you go ahead and roll your damage.
What is that?
It'll be the same as your sword. So like your damage is really based on yourself and your abilities. So your damage is the same, but the weapons have different tags. So with your bear claws, you have to be able to like get up on them with the claws, and they're attached to your hand, whereas the sword has a lot of reach. So it's really just a matter of like the different tags. So
But
you're like in fucking point blank melee range,
Yeah.
just clawing
Yep.
and slashing at these things.
Yep.
The damage is the same 1d10 plus 1.
Come on, bare hands.
Where's the detail? It is.
You hit the spider, but now he has your
Oh.
social security.
3. Wait, I thought there was
He's a
something-
cyber hacker.
Oh, I'm looking at the
mine
wrong
now,
D&D
bitch.
page, I think.
I know, bitch.
Okay. You slash and claw at this thing, but you find its sort of natural chitinous armor to be quite strong against the claws you're using. What's everyone else doing? Gladhammer and Gnarl, you're cut off on the other side.
Wait, but is Gnarl still being pulled?
Gnarl
I
is.
snapped out of it, right?
Roll a defy danger with a little wisdom bonus.
Oh, with wisdom.
Morty, you gotta
Well,
roll.
no, we'll take that
That's
2d6.
plus
So
one.
that's
That's
plus
plus
1.
one.
Okay. So you sort of stumble and kind of come to a little bit as you draw closer and closer, and you see now this really large, mostly more head than body, creepy ass spider just sort of dropping upside down from the ceiling. in front of you, and you see that you could either be pulled towards the stone or snap free, but know that you'd be coming face to face with this spider.
Pull toward the stone? Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. So you find like this strange
Yeah.
pull from this glowing purple stone that's pulsating in the room, and you find that you could break free of that sort of tractor beam, if you will, but you would then be putting yourself right underneath this dropping spider.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going for the spider.
Okay. All right. So you snap out of it, breaking the pull, and come up here as the spider is dropping down from the ceiling. Gladhammer, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna follow. Even though I don't trust this lizard guy, I can't leave him alone against a spider of this size. So I'm just gonna position myself right over here. I'm gonna bust open his leg when he lands.
Okay.
Are there webs all over the room? Like, is it thick?
You have a hard time seeing past the giant spiders between you and the room. What are you doing, Lorenzo?
Lorenzo shield bashes the spider in the face, the one right in front of Rex, and
Okay.
he holds his shield up but takes a knee.
All right. So as Rex claws at this thing, you come at it from the other side and bash at it with your shield.
Yep, just a swift right in the
All right.
face.
Roll hack and slash on that.
Sure, that's the same dice.
Ooh, yeah. You bash it good, but it's not perfect. You slam your shield into it. Go ahead and roll damage.
And what is that? 10?
Same as your weapon, really. Yeah. D10
Sure.
plus 1. 4. So 5 damage to the spider. Okay. Yeah, you bash into it, and now you're kind of just positioning yourself defensively.
I'm holding my shield up but then taking a knee. So I'm like squat down with my shield up.
In front of Rex?
Yep.
Between Rex and the spider? Okay. Alright, Pustis.
Is Gladhammer getting pulled as well?
You don't know. The last thing you saw was Gladhammer charging in after the salamander.
Okay. I drop into my darkness mode.
Okay.
You have darkness mode?
Yep.
Well,
Okay.
I'm gonna hurt you real bad, spiders. I'm gonna hurt you real fucking bad. And I have I believe a war hammer.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
really just like a chicken mallet.
I believe I have a Warhammer 40k, and I'm
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
smash the spider on the
Okay.
spider
Okay.
5.
Alright. Spider 5. Brave Pustis steps in to engage one-on-one with the large, especially to him, spider, as he bashes at it with this ornate-looking mace. Very fancy, very fancy.
It's like an egg hammer, like something you'd open an egg with.
Yeah, it's like you tap the thing.
Okay. All right, go ahead and clock this thing with your fucking hammer.
How do you do that? It's
So hack and slash would be
where's it?
2d6 plus strength. So
Like
2d6
that-
plus
oh,
1.
I see. Here it is.
A doctor's mallet.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Obsessed with cost. No, he has my social security.
Yeah. So, much like your allies, you're able to bash this thing, but it doesn't go exactly as planned. Go ahead and roll damage if you would.
And we're hitting those 7s tonight.
Where's the? Okay, I haven't swung this thing yet. It says damage is 1d6 plus 1d4 plus 1. Does that sound right?
Oh no.
Is this
Your
1d6
damage
plus
is
one?
1d6 plus 1.
Your baby.
Take that shit. Oh.
Oh! You take.
You lightly tap on the shell of this creature. Spider 5.
Please don't hurt me.
That spider, along with the one that our dear Lorenzo is shielding against, they both sort of simultaneously retaliate and chomp with their mandibles at the two of you. You, Lorenzo, take... What's your armor?
Big.
3.
takes
Your armor
100.
your shield, which you thankfully got up, absorbs most of the bite. But you still take 3 points of damage as this thing kind of catches you off guard and just smashes into you. Pustus, you don't have any armor, do you?
Where do we see our
Yeah,
armor?
I do.
Oh, defense 1. Okay. It's your defense score on your
defense.
sheet there.
1.
You're barely able to shield or defend yourself against the strength and sheer size of this spider as you take 6 points of damage.
Whoa! Not
Tiny.
It's just almost overpowering, and on top of you, just this massive fucking 8-legged form. Meanwhile, back in the room, what are you guys doing?
Did anybody cry out during all of that entire encounter?
Did you?
I did.
Yeah, probably right.
Oh no!
So
Out loud.
you've got a decision to make, Gladhammer. The Gnarl is sort of just broke free from this tractor beam, and you see his momentum carrying him forward right under this rapidly dropping, very different looking spider. Just these gangly long limbs, more eyes than even what seems natural for a spider, and this really large head. And it's
Can I knock
dropping
him out of the way?
dropping down for the salamander right now.
Can I
You
hit
can
him in the
you can
chest
you
and
can
knock him out of the
try
way?
to aid the salamander, or you can try to charge and flank the spiders where screams from your allies are echoing out from the corridor.
Nah, they're fine. I'm sure they'll be okay.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna hit a Gnarl. I'm just gonna hit him like
Okay.
right in the chest. A solid.
Wait, I already snapped out of it.
You snapped
He's gonna
out of
do it
it,
anyway.
but snapping out of it basically flung your body towards the danger of the spider. That was the fork in the road for you decision-wise. When you said you chose the spider, you chose the spider.
Yeah, but I am snapped out of it. I'm not hypnotized anymore.
You're not hypnotized, but snapping out of it meant like,
No, I get it.
Yeah,
I don't need
like-
to be hit to be snapped out of it.
yeah,
Then-
you're snapped out of it, but your body is still flying
I'm
towards
not-
where the spider's
yeah.
dropping. This is happening like in slow-mo.
Gladhammer's not convinced.
I'm not trying to snap you out of it. I'm trying
Oh,
to
okay.
break your.
He's trying to
trajectory.
Oh,
plow you out of the
alright,
way
I
of
see.
this dropping spider.
Got it.
So, Gladhammer, you start charging towards the lizard. Go ahead and roll a Defy Danger.
Oh, I hope this works.
We'll
Well,
go ahead
so far I've failed every single roll tonight.
you can.
I failed.
Ah, paladin luck.
You're
Fucking
gonna be so
fuck.
leveled. You're gonna be so strong
I
tomorrow.
know, right?
So, Gnarl, you get knocked back from the clumsy, tripping, falling, one-armed dwarf who just can't seem to find his balance in this weird chamber. You go knocking out of the way as he falls prone directly under the spider, which now has dropped down and sort of let go of its webbing and has like almost like an 8-legged prison wrapped around the dwarf.
I mean, that's fine. Like, kill the weakest link, guys. This is
Four-
Darwinism
Eustace is fine.
at its finest.
4 dicks extend from the
I-
spider.
Gladhammer, you look up at this very like strange, almost pale, monochromatic spider creature. You may try to attack if you want, Gnarl. Gladhammer,
I
you're
used
slightly
the
stunned.
momentum. I used the momentum from being
Peel
hit
back around.
to just rotate and keep the momentum rotating as I bring the sword just straight across, and
Okay.
I try to slash through 2 of its closest legs.
Okay. Yeah. Roll hack and slash.
Fucking
Okay.
+1.
Yeah. You slash into one of the legs with your fiery blade. It's almost like your momentum's carrying you right towards the prisoner, Gladhammer. Go ahead and roll damage.
What is damage? Sorry.
It's 1d8.
Is it?
Slash at the
Okay.
Yep,
flailing
burning brand.
dicks.
It's 1d8 +1 because I use that as one of my
mhm,
ability. Oh shit! Sorry, not 2d8. Hang on. Oh, they're both the same.
Well, I'll
Whatever,
take it.
you
I'll
choose one
take the
of
3.
Yep.
So if you
4.
do 4 points of damage. Gladhammer, the blade just skirts across the back of your prone head as you feel the fire and take just 1 point of damage as the flames kind of lick you a little bit. And let's see, Spider 2 takes a little bit of damage there.
Already
You added?
wounds.
You added it? Okay. The leg sort of cuts in this dark green wound, just pusses and almost squirts out at you defensively, Gnarl. And you take 3 points of burning acid damage.
Oh, but if it's odd, hang on.
Yep.
What?
Dun, dun, dun. I roll a 1d4.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
It's a battle of the elements. I burn
Shit.
you with acid. I burn you with fire.
Right. Take that result for
yeah,
us.
yeah.
I'm gonna add that to my burning brand uses.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So
A cool character.
All right. So that's
Yeah,
happening. Lorenzo, Pustis, and Rex. Rex, let's go to you. Lorenzo has just sort of stepped in, bashed this thing with his shield, and taken a blow that was probably intended for you. As Pustis kind of weakly, almost pitifully, smacked this spider to the right here, and finds himself just almost overshadowed by the thing. What are you doing?
I've
Okay.
taken a knee as well.
Okay.
So I'm
Alright.
going to run up this giant human's back and fucking... Okay, firstly, I have a Herculean appetite that's going off right now.
Yeah.
I am going to fucking conquer this goddamn spider in front of me.
Okay.
And so...
Yeah, you've definitely never seen anything like this. This would definitely be something to talk about over the fire or drink.
Yeah. So I'm going to climb... I'm going to use... Oops. I'm going to use Lorenzo's back as a ramp for me to jump up on top of the spider, claws out, and
Okay.
I'm going to just...
Just try to
Slash.
land on it or slash it
Yeah.
as you fall.
Oh, yeah. I'm landing on its face and just gonna on the top of its head, slashing at as many eyeballs as I can.
Okay, so when your hungers are at work, make sure you roll a d6 and a d8 instead of 2d6.
Okay. Let's see.
So Lorenzo, still sort of kind of almost at a knee with your shield up, the barbaric tall dwarf just sort of clambers over you, almost vaulting himself off of your shield, and you see him just take off into the air towards this spider.
Oh my god, this is hard.
D6 and
So
a D8? You can just roll
yeah,
them
do I just do them
independently.
individually?
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah. Let's keep it simple.
Keeps
So we got a
it-
2.
That's stupid.
D8. Ooh, with a 7, and for you, there's definitely some pluses in there, but definitely not enough to go to a 10. And good for you, the 8 was higher than the 6, so you are in control of your passions right now, as you're
Oh,
just
man.
soaring through the air. Go ahead and tell us what's happening as you land on this thing's
As I land on its
face.
face, I just go with these big fucking bear hands in my hands. By the way, I'm wearing a big fur bear coat,
So
you know,
you're...
my
And hawk
hands are-
fists.
and my hands are tucked into the bear claw parts, and that's my weapon.
There's this almost juicing, squishing sound as Rex just land on this thing's face hugger style, just splayed around it, punching into its armored body with its bear claws. Surprising to you, go ahead and roll damage first. D10 plus 1.
Okay.
Surprising to you. That's not a good lead.
I don't like where this is going. So 5.
It's 5 damage. So another 5 points of damage. This thing almost trembles and drops a little bit, losing a little bit of height as it definitely appears wounded. But you sort of punch these holes into the carapace, the outer armor of this thing, and these strange, fucking weird flopping tentacles come shooting out and attacking and wrapping around you out from underneath the armor of this spider creature. You
Like
trying.
Parasite.
Trying to fight it off, but your bloodlust is almost too much. It's too late as these things kind of clasp and wrap around your neck like a slap bracelet.
Oh, remember those?
You take 9 points of damage as this thing starts
my
choking and burning your throat.
Even with my 2 armor?
No, so 7 points of damage. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
That is
so
a
shitty.
shitload.
Lorenzo and then Pustis, what are you guys doing? You catch all of this, although Pustis, I don't know if you barely just sort of, you feel it happening more than anything as you're staring at this massive thing approaching you.
So is there a spider on Pustis right now?
No, it's almost like if I went, yeah, and then hit a thing and then realized the thing was slowly moving towards me to bite me and attack me more after it just sort of chomped at him.
And is the do the tentacles appear to be the spider, or is it a separate entity?
You don't know. I mean, the last thing you saw was the body of the dwarf kind of slowly lifting off of and floating above the back and the head of this thing with these strange sort of vine tentacle-like growths wrapped around his neck.
All right. Lorenzo, noticing that the spider and whatever the tentacles are distracted by Rex, he overhead falcon style slashes down at all 4 legs on the right-hand side of Spider 8.
Okay.
Hoping to cut the legs off of this thing.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, then we'll go ahead. He nails it.
Woo!
He fucking yells falcon style.
So, swinging more soundly and truly than you've yet to do on this entire mission. You find your blades just swinging perfectly towards the legs of this thing, just like you imagined. You can deal your damage and go back to a defensive stance, knowing that you'd be able to prevent a counterattack, or you can just fucking go for it and roll bonus damage, exposing yourself to the enemy potentially.
I'm gonna oh man, Pustus, you're about to get fucking. So if I defensive stance, can I defend Pustus?
No, I'm gonna heal you guys.
Basically, that means right now in this moment, when you engage this creature again, you can avoid taking counterattack damage, or you can do the opposite. One being more damaged, one being more safe.
Lorenzo sees that Rex is in mortal danger, and he just fucking goes for it.
Okay, I like
Overhead falcon styles.
Roll a d10 plus 1, then go ahead and roll a bonus d6.
Oh, I can't tell if this is a fucking D. Alright, that has 8 sides. We've all learned what that
Jesus
means.
Christ.
That's an 8-sided dice.
There you go.
10. That's a 10.
Okay, so that's 4. Roll a bonus d6.
This one has 6 sides.
7 points of damage to Spider 8. Rex, just as quickly as you got the wind just sucked out of you, you were choking, you were hovering above this thing, your fury just taking over, you immediately just drop as the whole spider slumps to the ground, losing the height gained from its legs as it drops to the ground dead. You fall back almost painfully. Annoyingly, you might look towards Lorenzo as you slam into the rocks on the ground, but you are no longer being choked to death by this thing as its body drops dead in front of both you and the Rust Knight. Pustus, you feel like the other spider is hissing and screeching in pain at the sound of its companion dying, and you feel like any microsecond now this thing's going to be just chasing after you again. What do you want to do?
I want to dive betwixt the legs of the spiders.
Okay. Into the
So
chamber ahead.
So that I can reach one magical glowing finger upwards into under Rex's tabard.
The
Okay.
old prostate exam.
And just give him the old.
All right, let's do this. So as Lorenzo just does his best impression of a fucking like Jon Snow on the battlefield with his large rusted sword, just sweeps through the legs of the spider ahead of you. In slow motion, you can see the spider just screeching like its whole torso dropping from the 6 feet above the ground that it was walking. Rex is just falling in slow motion, the tentacles unfurling around his neck. The other spider is charging towards you at this very moment. Everything's happening in just slow time. You see the spider on one side, you see your falling ally deeply wounded on the other, and you charge towards him with your glowing finger. Roll to cast spell.
The old Midas.
Did you finger up the balls?
So, Rex, as you're falling, you see the look on Pustus's face as he locks eyes with you. His gnarled, sort of magic finger aglow as if he was going to shove it in one of your orifices. But as he's flying, everything goes from slow-mo to, like, double time as he just goes whoosh, and disappears as 2 of the legs of the spider near you grab and wrap around him and snatch him out of the air like a piece of popcorn. You take 9 points of damage, Pustus.
Oh, no. How much does your little baby body have?
Finger yourself.
And while the one spider has dropped dead on the ground. Rex, you're slightly stunned as your head smacks on the stone. Lorenzo, you two have just sort of finished your swing as you see the halfling snatched out of the air. And it almost looks like to all of you, and Pusis, you can feel this thing is starting to just like spit this thick, strange webbing, and he's wrapping two of his other legs and sort of starting to cocoon you and back away from the others. Gladhammer, now completely covered by a prison of spider legs, what would you like to do?
Not completely. I cut one of them.
You stabbed one of them.
There are four dicks
You
above
drew acid blood. That was it.
There we go. All right.
You did not cut the
goal
leg off.
here is to continue the work of my dear friend Gnarl, but my goal is to utterly fail at hitting it. So, since I failed so far, I'm just gonna assume.
So you're gonna do the opposite and try to miss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
With a plus
Yeah.
one. With a plus
With a
one,
plus
right?
one,
You have
yeah.
you have a plus one.
Yeah. You're failing upwards as you just swing upwards and smash at the legs that the same leg that Gnarl attacked.
Sure. I don't even care at this point.
You slash at it with your hammer. Go ahead and roll
Perfect.
damage.
Is that D10?
It is a D10 plus 1, yes.
I'm trying to puce this.
It's is that plus? What is that plus 1 from?
I think it's
Because that's-
two-handed.
Okay, and I also have a plus 1 for hooks and spikes, and I have messy and forceful.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hooks and
Messy.
spikes.
I
yeah,
have messy too.
messy and
Yeah.
forceful.
Ooh, oh, okay.
I
Okay.
just want to give that
How
to you.
forceful.
And
Okay.
forceful,
So we'll say that's 5 damage to Spider 2.
It explodes and acid hits my face and beard, and my beard melts.
Exactly.
I get like a scar, like right here, like burns like a little tear.
Man.
Your beard bubbles.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bow out. You nailed that. Yeah, you like a fucking pinata. You just smack this thing, and right where the joint is, the leg just kind of snaps, pops, and flips upwards and back towards Gnarl as just a bloated rain of acid splashes both towards you and the salamander.
All you hear is not the beard.
Fuck.
Ignoring any armor and splashing on both of your faces abruptly out of nowhere is a rain of acid. Gladhammer, you take 2 points of burning acid damage.
Oh, perfect.
That should be a 6. And Gnarl, you take 4 points of burning acid damage. But this thing screeches like "Ah!" and kind of coils back a little bit, leaving enough of a gap for you. I assumed you were kind of just charging and running at this thing when you smacked it.
Yeah, but now I land in between the legs of Gnarl.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Not
I'm feeling the warmth.
Sorry, 1 second.
So I can do something now, right?
You can, but hold that thought for 1 moment. So, as the dwarf bashes and charges through the pinata of an acid-filled spider leg, and just lands in your lap, both of you covered with this strange acidic fluid, immediately you start to have strange visions. You're no longer in this cavern. You're in exactly the place you always dreamed of being.
But do I still see the spider though?
You're not sure. Why don't you go ahead and roll a
You've
Defy
always
Danger
dreamed of the
with a
spider.
Wisdom check, both of you.
Okay, so let's see.
Papa,
Fucking plus
I'm in your
wisdom,
chambers.
defy. Yes! Yes!
I got a 7 because I have -1, I guess, for wisdom.
Still made it.
I mean, you're shit.
So you've got 2 options right now, and this is an in-character decision. Your character, you almost for a moment can't tell what's real and what's not. There's this burning hot sensation washing over your faces. You immediately think and see yourself in the happiest place you've ever imagined as a person.
The Mines of Moria.
You can go back and sort of pull on that thread of curiosity if something seems off, and accept the burning damage that's seeping into your flesh or whatever you're made of right now, or you can go to your happy place and feel perfectly healthy, perfectly happy.
Well,
Can I still see the spider?
You're not sure. You felt like you saw something. Something feels off
I wouldn't
every-
want
as you enter your dream sequence. Accept the reality and accept the burn, or go to your happy place.
Happy
What?
place, happy place.
I'm in a happy place.
I know,
This temple has been shit so far, so I'm
I-
going to my favorite mine and the favorite, most beautiful dwarvish architecture. Oh,
What?
I need a moment.
Yeah, what's there? Who's there? Who's
What kind
around
of
you,
stone is
Glenn?
it?
Oh, well, no, it's just me. I'm in the depths of the mine.
All
It's
alone?
beautiful.
Are you naked?
Oh, so beautiful. Oh, well, maybe a little naked. Maybe just a bit. Dwarvish architecture
Pants
everywhere.
optional? Oh,
Stuff
yeah.
that I've crafted with my own hand.
Oh,
A
okay.
huge tankards
You
of
feel
beer.
so happy, so loved, so successful and renowned. Like this is almost like a shrine to your glory of craftsmanship. You walk around here nearly naked, just you and the bare stones and your bare ass. This
and
is
bear beer.
this is your Valhalla.
Made out of bear.
Gnarl, what are you doing?
Gnarl refuses to believe the dream because he's been trapped
You've
in
been through this before, yeah.
awful
This, yeah.
Oh, shit.
plane. He knows it's.
You know these
there's
tricks.
something ruined about this.
Yeah, and you look through your burning eyes and you see Gladhammer just sitting down, almost cross-legged on the floor with a cheek-to-cheek smile on his face and his arms crossed. Strangely, you notice all of his wounds heal before your eyes, but the spider that you now see was real, stands above him and is slowly wrapping him in a cocoon of warmth, a blanket, a happy blanket, and he's slowly dragging the creature off as he realizes you've snapped out of it, and he hisses at you as he's slowly dragging Gladhammer away. What would you like to do?
I leap into the air with my flaming sword, and I bring it down on the legs that are holding Gladhammer to try to break him free.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to hack and slash.
I sing a dwarvish drinking song.
Yeah.
It's muffled. Oh,
Yes!
my god!
Snap!
Nice.
Okay, so you're attacking the two legs that were pulling on this little cocoon it was
Yep.
forming. Okay.
That plus 1.
Oh,
8 points.
Woo! Shit, son!
Ah.
You hack the legs off as more of this acid just rains down upon the dwarf, and the thing is hissing and screeching and laying on the ground. In sort of like one last attempt, I need you to go ahead and defy danger wisdom, as there's this almost just shock to your brain as the whole room around you shimmers and changes.
Oh, and disappears.
And disappears. The pulsing purple glow from the crystal that's been adjacent to you all during this whole strange battle is the last thing you see as you completely disappear into your own happy place.
But to be fair, I did get splashed with acid, so
You did.
I
You're knocked
myself
out of it?
am gonna be defying danger to see if I awaken.
That is totally valid. Go ahead and do that.
I'm being eaten by a spider.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, man. Houston is not forgotten.
Gladhammer, you wake up to a burning pool of acid splashing down on your face, snapping you out of it. But you found yourself feeling refreshed almost to this point while you were off in your distant place. But you see Gnarl is his eyes have almost turned completely purple as he stands there frozen in front of this gem. But meanwhile, Pustis has been snapped out of the air and is being wrapped up by webbing as the salivating jaws, the mandibles of this spider are pulling it towards its mouth.
My internet has 3.
Rex, you now look up, still slightly dazed, but fully back, fully recomposed, as you kind of like lean up on the ground in a laying position, ready to snap back into it. As Lorenzo, you yourself also see this happening. What are the two of you doing? You kind of look at each other, look at the halfling. You
I'm
see
drawing my
something
sword.
strange happening, almost ritualistic in the room ahead. What would you like to do?
I look at Rex, and then we lock eyes, and then I nod at him. He nods back at me, and then in that flash, we decide which one of us is going first.
Go for it.
Okay. Lorenzo winks at him, but under his helmet, but he can't tell. And then he says, "Your end begins now," and he body checks the spider off of Custis.
Okay.
With his shield.
All right. Go ahead and we'll just call it a hack and slash with a. Well, oh, okay. What's your intention here? I'm gonna use this dice roll. What's your intention to primarily deal damage, or to just try to get in there and save the halfling?
I want to knock him off of the halfling and knock him away as far as I possibly can.
So, I mean, truly, you're just trying to defend the halfling more than damage the thing. Okay. What's your constitution? Bonus?
It is 12 plus 0.
Perfect. So, you have one charge of hold as you charge and place yourself between the spider and the halfling, or try to free the halfling rather. You can do one of a few things, and one of a few things only. You can redirect the focus of the bite, the attack, towards yourself. You can try to half the effect of the attack or damage that will be coming to Pustis. You can just try to open the thing up for Rex and give him a bonus to hit the thing when he comes in. Or you can deal a small amount of damage with your shield.
At the last second, I kneel down and I push up with my shield and I open the spider up for an attack.
Okay.
At Rex.
Rex, you see him just sort of almost punching and pushing and opening this thing's weak spot to you in the corridor ahead as you slowly start to get up. What would you like to do?
I draw my sword.
You also see your brother splayed out on the ground, drowned in acid in a purple room ahead of you.
He's dwarf. He can handle it.
There you go.
Damn right, I can handle it.
Your face is melting off.
Yeah.
Alright, Rex has the floor.
I have a conquest down here, and I am going to conquer these fucking spiders down here.
Okay.
And I'm going to run forward drawing my sword, and I'm going to jab it right in its mandible.
Okay.
Right where he lifted him up for me.
Right where the tiny morsel of halfling meat is heading towards?
Yeah, before he gets there.
Alright, so go ahead and roll a hack and slash, plus your strength, and an additional +1 from Lorenzo sort of setting you up here.
Plus I have forceful and messy, which I forgot to use last time.
We'll work that in if you hit the thing.
Okay.
Woo! Yeah, you do! So with all your bonuses taken into account, that's definitely in the 10+ range, which means you may also choose to just smack into this thing with your blade and all your might, and then pull back in a defensive stance, suffering no counterattack, or you can go probably the damage side, where you open yourself up but deal more damage.
I'm gonna go balls deep.
Yeah.
Style.
I'm gonna go deep dick no condi on this one.
Oh yeah. Charging in with your blade, your two-handed blade, slashing at this thing. Go ahead and roll D10 +1, and then a bonus D6.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Give him more bonus.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay. So that's 7 points of damage as you slash into the jaws of this thing. You're pretty much taking off the entire lower jaw, the lower mandible, if you will. 7 points of damage to Spider 5 is enough to gain its attention, not enough to kill it.
Sitting pretty.
11. He's looking fairly wounded, but still furious. He drops the semi-bound halfling, Pustis, to the ground. Pustis, what would you like to do? You're kind of laid there with the lower part of your body sort of half cocooned. Easy enough to kind of break free from and still do it action.
So I don't need to
like.
spend a turn to
No.
webs
No.
off? Okay.
Your allies reacted quickly enough.
I think I'm just gonna heal myself.
How are you
did I
gonna do
lose
that?
the spell?
How are you gonna do it?
If I fail the spell, do I lose it, right?
If you do fail it, you would, yeah.
Okay, so I lost it. Okay. Then I get up. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Ugh."
you rolled it earlier. Sorry.
I'm just gonna puke a little bit.
You feel your connection to your god fading the deeper you go into these strange caverns.
As I'm puking, I reach in my side pouch and I find this like red bottle, and I pull the cork out. I'm like, oh, and I throw it up on the ground again. Whoa, swig it back because I have a healing potion.
There you go.
And I drink it, and I'm like licking the inside of the bottle to the thing. Like,
So,
well, that video is not recorded for that one.
So that is a 10. You can heal yourself for 10 points of damage or remove 1 debility, which you don't have in this case. So
I'll take the tenner.
Instead of 17 points of damage, you are back to 7.
Yay!
Feeling much
Holy
healthier, though
shit.
still quite fucked up.
Guys, that was terrible.
You almost died, dude.
Not good at rolling dice. I mean, swinging my hammer.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Gladhammer, you've sort of come to, your face burnt and boiled with acid, as you see the Gnarl, who you're used to only really reading like the warm tone colors on, the fiery reds and yellows. His eyes have changed to this strange purplish glow. And Gnarl, almost in an out-of-body experience, you can see this happening as you kind of just go spread arm and splayed, and you start floating in front of this crystal, and you find that your voice is not your own. You find this weird, strange, dark voice just pouring out from your throat and mouth as you say, "The Dark Ones are rising. The king above has summoned his armies."
Oh
and
my
your eyes
God.
just go back to normal as you drop to the ground and the faint purple glow from the crystal disappears.
Whoa.
Oh no. Oh no.
So wait a second. Is he?
Yeah, that's what you're thinking as you look at all this happening.
Is he out of his vision trance thing, or do I?
Yeah, he immediately drops and sort of snaps out of it after he gives that little 1 or 2 line speech there.
Oh, well, that was a little weird.
And then he turns around and like breaks the face of the giant spider thing behind him.
Just making sure it's really quite dead.
Oh, is it already dead?
You're not sure, it was laying prone on the ground.
I mean, you said it was twitching last time.
Yeah.
Is it still moving?
There's like a little bit of residual, like,
Okay, is it?
You're not
death
sure.
Throes?
you really don't know.
Wow, I would like to inspect the death throes of the spider.
How about you just hit it in the face? Hit it in the face to find out.
Yeah, just
Okay,
smash
yeah,
its
I'll
brains
hit it
out.
I'll hit it
Okay.
in the face.
Yeah, you chip and smash and bash away through like the strange, large-headed spider, and as you do so, the plates in the head/body region reveal this really large, strange, sort of dark purplish green brain matter, just totally filling the volume of this head-body space. But finally, the twitches and stop, and the bits of sort of corrosive acid spill out around you, but you take no damage as you are now aware of the liquids inside.
Ah, that's a little weird.
I
I wonder what that stuff is.
Yeah, I don't know. Gnarl, you find yourself snapped out of it, but aware a bit of what just happened, even though it
Okay, so I
wasn't
heard it.
you. You heard it, yeah, but
Right.
you're a little bit dazed from the entire experience. Rex and Gnarl, you've successfully sort of like checked this thing with your body, slashed at its jaws, freed the halfling. You notice that it's sort of skittering and backing away as the loud squishing noises of brain matter being bashed sort of echo through this large chamber. The purple light that was filling it, flooding the room, has completely winked out, and with it, the spider also just sort of winked out of existence, almost as if it's no longer on this plane of the material world altogether.
I spent time on you, asshole. Okay. Lorenzo kind of brushes the rust. It has no effect on him. He's still rusty as fuck. And he looks around the room. There's a purple crystal.
Do we sense that Gnarl has changed in some way for the worse?
You're really not quite sure.
I examine Gnarl's face and I take a knee and take the sword out and plant it in the ground once again, as you've seen before. And I ask, is there evil in this place?
Ooh, okay.
Can we
You-
talk to Jason right now, please?
The sword vibrates and you hear it.
Yeah, the sword vibrates. Your amulet grows a bit warm for a moment, and you sense directly from the room you just left and from the passageway to the southeast, a growing presence.
I feel evil in this place.
You all now fully coming into this chamber, sort of huddled around, take in the fact that there are still many dangling cocoon ceilings, about sacks from the ceiling, dangling about the room, about a dozen or so.
The Ouroboros warns about the cocoons to the north. To the look up.
All about the room,
and even within
dangle
reach?
12 large humanoid-sized sacks of webbed creatures or bodies or objects. You're not quite sure?
Are any of them moving?
None of them are moving, no.
I can, I might be able to use my strength to throw somebody up there. My barbaric strength.
Most of them are about 12 feet above the ground, as far as
toss
like where they're
Eustace.
dangling.
Eustace, yeah. I was kind of looking at Eustace.
Oh!
Don't throw me.
I could throw my sword at one of them or something. Like boomerang style. Or we could throw the rope. Throw the rope up there. We have a rope, right?
Yeah, we do have rope.
Lorenzo goes rummaging through Gnarls' shit and pulls out the 50-foot rope.
Okay, so you're gonna use a.
He
You still
throws
had
it-
the rope out from before, right?
Yeah.
Just, I mean, you pulled it out. I imagine. Yeah, it's
He
gonna
tosses it to Rex. Do your thing, Rex.
Me? Oh, I'm throwing? Who am I throwing?
We're throwing a rope.
Oh, I'll
The
fucking
50-foot
throw
rope.
that thing like a goddamn Kershaw.
Trying to lasso one?
Yeah. With the old rodeo.
Oh, dude, I've done this in my bear wrestling days.
Go ahead and just roll a 2d6. Oh yeah, yeah.
I
You,
lassoed two at
in
the
one
same time.
in one fell swoop, you lasso two at the same time.
And I pulled them down.
Okay, with one quick just, there's a snapping moment where these things just sort of ding and just
They don't stand under me.
fall to the ground like two
You
body
just didn't
bags.
roll a 6, so we're fine.
Cool.
Lorenzo walks over to one of them and examines. Tries to open it if he can.
Okay.
Yeah. So now does the other one.
You start peeling it back, and there's this rank smell as immediately to the north where this large gem is, which also has several like almost rock hand-sized pieces of chipped gem that have clearly come from this weird rock source laying about it. All of them immediately once again start glowing purple as there's moving, rumbling, pushing, bursting forth from the two cocoons that have dropped to the ground. And these strange, rotted, mutated humanoid bodies come bursting forth like glowing purple just sort of emanates from what you could call eye sockets, I suppose.
I'm
Wait,
gonna
are
grab
they
the
humans?
stone while that's happening.
It's too hard to tell, honestly. They're kind of like these mutated things. Just go ahead and put this down.
Yeah, like exactly husks.
Is Gladhammer looking at the stone? Oh,
I am looking at the stone very closely because I like stones.
are those mystics?
Very curious about the stones. The stone that's floating in the
Yeah,
air.
they are interesting stones. There are a few pieces of it, like almost like large diamond gem-sized pieces, just laying on the ground near the central stone.
With my actual bare hands, not like my claw bare hands, I want to punch the fucking rune out of its head.
The little husk-like creature.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and, well, I mean, honestly, like, they're in a fragile enough state, still half cocooned, that you just do it. Like, you just start punching and knocking weird rotted bits of, like, almost like hamburger meat were wrapped around, like, a humanoid form. You're just sloshing and plunging, and just, it's getting real fucking messy in here. As you just completely knock the life out of this thing as it goes back to being just a
And then-
pile of weird flesh.
After I'm done, I pick up the thing and I hold it after as I sit with hamburger meat.
Okay, yeah, it had like 2 of these purple gemstones in its eyes. They look quite valuable and interesting. Definitely have an aura of magic about them.
I'm gonna
Toss
like.
What are the
I'm gonna
dwarves
take out-
doing?
I'm taking out my my gem and like inspector thing, and I'm
Your
gonna get
monocle?
real close.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they call that something. What is that eyepiece thing
A
called?
monocle.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called
No.
a loop.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take out my loop, my dwarven, very specially crafted loop, and I'm
Oh,
gonna
your
inspect
telescope.
the
Okay.
depths of this beautiful gem that I find so enchanting.
Okay. Go ahead and discern realities for me.
I wonder if I get an advantage since I'm so dwarvish and used to these
I would think so.
gems.
Yeah, probably.
I would be wary of all these gems, especially since my salamandery friend started talking crazy
Okay.
talk.
So, Rex, you notice Gladhammer off on the other corner of the room looking at an even larger gemstone than the one you have, but you have 2. You've got 2 eyeball-sized ones. And you notice him examining and kind of holding the stone up. All of you kind of do. But Gladhammer, you think this thing's not only valuable, but it contains some sort of magical properties that possibly when imbibed or held close to the bare flesh, the person touching it or consuming it might partake upon whatever magical source is charging it.
Can I tell for how long that would happen?
You have no idea.
This is
Alright.
of no use to me. As,
Uh,
as a barbarian, I think nothing of this. I kind of throw it over my shoulder in the direction of my brother.
You all.
Doesn't look like anything to me.
Rex
I
has,
catch
has,
them
has
without looking.
Okay. You all see Gladhammer in the corner near this large thing now with like these 3 large glowing hand fist-sized gems. Rex has just pulverized and punched one of these husk creatures into a pile of meat, taken the glowing eyes from it, but the other one is now sort of helping what you started and crawling out of the other cocooned bit of webbing, and it's clawing and getting ready to charge towards Lorenzo.
Lorenzo like pounces on this thing with his shield down, and he pins it to the floor. And
Okay.
cries out, "Pustus, I need your finger."
Roll a 2d6 plus dexterity as you try to react to this thing crawling out
Fingers
of
in the
its...
shop.
Whatever Dex is, that. Dex is +1. 10.
Ooh, yeah, it is. Man, you just barely managed to catch this thing out of the corner of your eye rising out of its cocoon sleeping bag, and you just pin it to the ground with your shield and look back at the halfling.
Its head and butt are exposed, but his torso is covered by shield. Pustus!
I don't have any magics.
Well, try something, goddammit!
Alright. I bat away the little husk man with my warhammer.
You come around the other side and you're like, let me just tap that.
Let me just
What does
Okay.
your hammer look like? You have a picture of what?
my warhammer?
Yeah.
I'll
It's
find
the
you
thing
one.
the doctor hits
His
your
warhammer?
knee with.
Mean-
Yeah.
Rubber?
He just
Yeah.
calls it his warhammer.
It's just a ball peen hammer.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
it's just a
Yes, that's what I was hoping you'd
Like
say.
a little.
dildo.
Check your reflexes.
The warhammer.
I love that, dude. I love that it's a ball peen hammer.
Yeah, I call it my warhammer, but it's really just kind of like a smaller.
All right. You know what? Like, I mean, Pustus, you perfectly smacked this thing since Lorenzo's got it pinned to the ground right now. Go ahead and what's your damage is only a d6 plus 1?
I think it's
It's called a D4.
Yeah, a D6.
Yeah, it's d6 plus 1. All right, roll that d6. Let's see how much
Yeah!
you knock a bit of like hamburger meat flesh off of this thing's face. It's like, and it sort of claws and reaches out to sort of try to break free from Lorenzo, but he's finding himself quite stuck at the moment.
Did
Hey,
you
did
just
you need
feel
a-
like that was a lot?
Did you guys need a visual for his hammer? Just check
Yes.
the chat.
Oh god.
Oh, there it
Did
is.
Pustus feel good about that damage? Like
Yeah,
it was
beautiful,
a lot.
beautiful. I did not. He did not.
Yeah,
Rex,
one
you spot your brother holding all of the gems, easily catching the ones you threw in the air, examining them. Gladhammer, you almost find yourself pondering if you should eat one of these. It almost looks like a gleaming magic crystal cube the way you're looking at it right now. Gnarl, let's pivot to you for a moment. You've sort of snapped out of this strange sort of vision you've had as everyone pulls into the room. There's corpses rising, weird gems. What would you like to do? Gnarl.
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
Okay, you can marinate
So-
on it.
Yeah,
Gladhammer,
marinate.
Gladhammer, you're holding the stones. You feel a strong urge to do something with these gems.
Hey, brother, come here real quick.
I'm there with him.
Okay.
I approach.
So just a little backstory here. Gladhammer is pretty well known with piercing things.
Yeah, go on.
So without his brother realizing what's happening, he takes one of the gems and just totally drives it right through his brother's nipple.
Right through the other piercing.
Just like right, just directly through. Like,
A hamburger or a hot dog? Wing?
Okay. Okay.
I grab him by the throat because I'm pissed.
Yeah. As your reaction to grab him runs through your thought process, you don't even think about it. It's just a reaction. You feel like this sort of almost like the biggest rush of adrenaline you've ever had in your entire life coursing through your veins. Like your flesh is turning bright red. Your veins are growing and pulsing and extruded on your flesh. If you were to think
snap my
about,
neck and I die.
if you were to think about one attribute of your entire being, what would be the strongest one that rises to the surface right now? Like your constitution, your strength, your
Boner.
Yeah, it rises to the surface.
Ooh, what does Constitution give me? Like, what does it do?
That's
I
like
don't
your
understand.
overall health. Strength is like your 2-hit, your damage type stuff like that.
Oh, I'm gonna go. What's in my nipple? Ooh, then I'm going with strength.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman veins.
Okay. There's this sort of shudder that charges through you. Everything you thought about doing definitely goes through, but you find yourself stronger than ever, as there's this almost magical infusion happening as this thing sinks into your flesh. If you were to say your weakest attribute was, what would that be?
It's either wisdom or intelligence.
Yeah.
Intelligence.
Definitely
Let's go with
intelligence.
intelligence.
Yeah, looking at your sheet here, it's definitely intelligence. You find your thoughts less clear, less focused, but your strength is surging.
You become a bear.
And you complete your thought of charging towards your brother who's just pierced your fucking nipple with some weird underground subterranean gemstone.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I
complete that thought if you would.
I look down and notice. I actually think it looks pretty good. And I release the tension from his throat without saying anything.
Yeah, you do feel nice on one level. Gladhammer, you immediately discern that these rocks have some sort of strange magical properties. Some positive, some potentially negative, as your brother looks a bit dazed and a bit off, although himself.
Well, like a scientist here, because that's what I am at the moment. Brother, maybe look down where Gnarl's at, and we can, test your strength at the moment. I'm just very curious. No reason, just maybe there's a barricade or something I'd like to see your hands
Leave him
on.
alone. Don't touch him.
This is between dwarves.
No, it's about my friend. No.
Lorenzo's still sitting on top of a totally alive monster.
I don't mean attacking Gnarl.
Leave him
by the
alone.
way.
Leave him alone. Wait, what do you mean then?
I meant like go down where Gnarl is, location-wise, and continue moving forward, so we don't just sit here forever. And
Oh, I thought
waste
you
our
were gonna
buff.
like test out your new nipple gem.
Nipple strength jammers.
No.
All right,
No.
Lorenzo questions to himself whether or not this magical power could have possibly seeped into the ground around the area. Maybe that has something to do with his past and why he's undead. He's been brought back to life somehow. And then he snaps the neck of the living thing that's in front of him and snatches the purple crystals out and puts them in his pocket.
Okay, yeah, you deposit the crystals in your pocket as you easily snap the neck of this thing. And you see your allies kind of heading to the southeast, but you have this thought, this feeling of being underground, and almost like there's this familiar presence. The longer you linger down here, the more it's sort of coming back to you. You can't quite place it yet, but you remember not feeling alone when you were in that dark purgatory.
Lorenzo fingers the purple crystals, palms them in his hand over and over. He feels the energy kind of seeping down into him. He's like, things are cursed, and then he needs to finger them and walks forward.
Okay. Gnarl and company, you're heading towards this corridor to the southeast.
I'll provide the light.
As the narrow passageway kind of starts to open up, you find like this almost sort of fungal forest lies ahead of you. As you get to let's just say to the edge of the passageway here. It's like part garden, part forest, as it goes from like a small sort of growth of fungus to just being covered in the stuff the deeper you get into the room or see into the room. Clearly this stuff has been strong enough to break through this dark stone that forms the underbelly of this place. But you find you would have to like break through and chop down or move through some of these mushrooms and other fungal growths in this room here if you were to move ahead.
Brother, we need your axe ahead. Maybe, chop down the things.
I look for spiders.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I
Gentlemen,
thought I was there.
Perhaps we could look through other hallways before charging into the mushroom-infested one.
Brother, there's mushrooms. I know you like them.
Lorenzo shakes his head. He knows what's about to happen, and he tries not to get upset and just kind of leans against the wall, and he lets it happen.
What is happening?
Yeah, what's happening, guys?
I'm stuck.
Lorenzo pretends
stuck
to
in
whistle. Yeah.
I can't move any far forward.
Lorenzo backs off to the back.
Is this the way we want to go, gentlemen?
I suppose.
It's out of character.
I move forward, but I'm scanning for spiders.
Okay.
did the same
Try. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. You may ask one question. Young
there
salamander.
Shit, that's right.
Yeah.
The question thing.
Mhm.
Shit. Hang on. Ask a question.
What color are the mushrooms?
Thank you.
Where are the spiders?
What do the crystals do?
What here is not what it appears to be.
You definitely notice deep within the cavern ahead, stranger fungal growths than the others. They clearly stand out, though you don't know exactly what it is that's different about them, other than the size and coloration.
I point my flaming sword at it. Those are different and weird.
Nailed it.
And I stay away from them as we move through the room.
Well, okay. I mean, hold that
You're-
thought. So, as previously described, you would definitely have to, like, almost imagine like jungle vines. There's like just strange vine-like fungal growth in the room, as well as plenty of mushrooms that have burst and sort of found a way to break through this stone and just litter the place like a giant mushroom forest almost.
Oh, right.
Sorry if that
I
wasn't
thought we were
clear.
climbing over it, but
Perhaps you should toss a stone into the room first.
I cover my nose and mouth with
I don't
my
go
shawl.
into the room. I toss a stone into the room? That's a good suggestion.
Sure.
I pick
Do
up
you?
a near stone and I toss it in there. kind of
Okay.
toward those weird-looking ones.
There's like this almost farting-like noise as like a puff of gas and smoke and spores kind of come out from underneath the cap of the large mushroom.
I don't know. I turn back to Eustace. Eustace, what do you think?
I don't know. It looks kind of mushroomy in there. I think maybe we should tread cautiously. I don't know. Let's. You know what? I'm just gonna go bite the bullet. I'm gonna put my shawl over
Oh, you're Chernobyling.
my face, and I'm
Get in there.
slowly treading into the room. My thing over my face to see what I can see.
Okay.
All right.
I need Pustus. I would like you to roll 2d6.
You're dead.
1d6 if you live. 1d6.
Oh my God.
No. The mushroom explodes. You're dead.
You,
So terribly all night.
The spores from like the tentacles and the vine-like growths that sort of like hang like curtains as you walk through some of these mushrooms that are quite large and above you, like the caps of the mushroom are above your top knot, and like a rain and cloud of spores kind of puffs and fills the air like vapor around you, and you start feeling sick and ill, almost violently as you back away from the room. Kind of coughing up mini mushrooms out of your mouth that have materialized as they touch the liquid on your tongue as you spit up these nasty fucking things. You take 6 points of damage.
You shit yourself immediately.
Tastes like cream of mushroom.
And then the shit comes out as mushrooms, whole
Yeah.
mushrooms. Oh, I
Shit
back out.
out of your dick.
I just right back out of there. I'm not going in there.
Help me! I'm like trying to get somebody to like touch me.
I drag Pustus with me.
I'm trying to
Take
get somebody to
Pustus
touch
with
me.
grab
Just touch me.
There's a as you back away from this corridor, this glowing green cavern that lies ahead of you, you hear this like almost slurping, weird, wet, thick sound sort of echo through the corridor to the west, and there's this shimmer, not one but two quick pulses on the large purple gem comes billowing out from not only the gem itself to the northeast, but through the corridor where you heard the sound to the southwest.
The paladin follows the group as he pisses in his mind.
Which way should we go?
Is that a blanket going to take a quick
Yeah,
piss?
it's the park.
No? Alright, I'm gonna do that
I
too, actually.
gotta actually bail right now.
Okay, we can pause there.
Oh God, we're like stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Cliffhanger!
Or shit.
Well,
There it is.
Let's say this. As you look towards the west, you see a familiar spider come crawling out from that corridor.
God fucking damn it.
But you don't really know what lies beyond, as you currently don't have line of sight.
Oh, fuck, are those spiders?
Yeah, so we're gonna pin there, but basically you head away from the fungal forest cavern and see a familiar spider to the one that vanished when trying to eat Pustus.
There's nothing fun about that room.
No, so we'll just pause right there till next time.
Cool.
Cool.
Just live.
GG's.
God
Did it.
damn it.
We almost died, but we didn't.
Pustus, finger yourself.
Yeah.
If
He
you
got
get
the
It doesn't
Googly's
work.
finger out.
if you get creative with where you stick it, who knows what could happen.
Don't miss.
Eustace
The way
uses
I'm
the-
rolling tonight, I would miss myself trying
Yeah.
that.
uses the forbidden two-finger technique.
You plunge it into your rear cavity and take a wrong angled path as you shove forcefully inward, rupturing some clear anal artery. No.
Oh, you bleed
out of your butthole.
out from the anus.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go sleep. Good games.
Go.
Good game.
Jesus.
Sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams, my hearties.
Bye.